I've got 20 acres out here between Columbus and Bozeman, Montana. This is part of the Yellowstone River Ranch area. My name's Miles McLaughlin here at Wilco Land. I'm going to break down this property. I'm going to help you understand what access looks like, what the property can be used for. I'm going to talk about utilities and all that good stuff. So there's a lot you can learn about this property from the comfort of your home. Sit back for a few minutes. I'll try to educate you on exactly what we're selling, whether you're in the area, whether you're going to view it or not. There's a ton you can learn about a property from the comfort of your home. So I want to kick the video off with a quick disclaimer. This isn't legal advice. It's not real estate advice. This is me simply sharing my thoughts and opinions on this property with you here today through my own due diligence and my 10 plus years experience in the land industry. So again, looking at these photos, these have some awesome views from the top of this property. I'm going to talk about the topography, but I want to pause in this photo and show you that power is accessible. It looks like there's a junction box right there. There should be no problem connecting to power from this property. Again, I'll get into more utilities later in this video. Looking through some of these photos, our photographer did a great job of showing you what the road system looks like, what this property looks like through drone imagery and through ground level photos here that he took. So, like I said, I think our photographer did a great job of really helping you understand what this land investment is. I'm going to talk about the topography of this property here shortly. The one main thing I want to touch on, there's three or four different building sites on this property. And I want to emphasize that you do not need to build on this property to start using it. Many landowners out here can use their property for camping and recreational enjoyment. This subdivision comes with access to the Yellowstone River as well. So the Yellowstone River Ranch, it's comprised of 20-acre parcels. It's situated along the Yellowstone River. There are timber properties. There's riverfront properties. We have one of the timber properties with a creek running through it. The amenities, this is a big section, huge selling points include a community park, a boat launch, and fishing access. I think that's huge. And then you are not required to build a home on your properties. Many owners enjoy camping and recreating on their properties throughout the year, right? So this is a website I have linked in this website listing. You can click it right here. It's going to bring you to the homepage of the Yellowstone River Ranch. There's a $500 a year annual HOA due, right? It's a very minimal HOA. I think it's really cool what it provides you. I think a lot of landowners are going to be happy being part of this community. So let's talk about it. We'll talk more about the Yellowstone River Ranch. There's more information within this website that I can show you. There's also a map of the ranch out here. There's state land, there's BLM land within the ranch, and like I said, there's fishing access site and community areas, right? So we'll get into that a little bit more later in the video, but I want to talk about the area and I want to talk about the topography and what other folks are doing. So specifically looking at our property, there is a little stream that runs through it, and you can see it better on Onyx Maps, which is one of my favorite apps. It's this property right here. It runs through about right here. And so one of the building areas that I wanted to point out, or potential building sites, right? You're going to have to go through the state to get, septic approval, to get well approval, unless you're just doing a dry cabin, something of that nature, or using it for recreational purposes, yurt, camping. Like the HOA said, many people are not building, they're simply using these properties for recreational purposes. So number one, this is a section a guy could build. Let's say your pocket is something like, this. That's almost a, full, that's 3/4 of an acre of some pretty good usable space. Maybe you're parking a camper there, whatever it may be, a driveway, a small cabin, that's an opportunity right there, okay? The next spot I wanted to point out is going to be right here on the other side of the road. This is actually all part of your property. I think this would make for a pretty cool home site. Something like that. That's about 1/3 of an acre, okay, in that section. And then lastly, one of my sales guys here really thought, and the photographer did too, this area up top would make for a really cool home site up here. You've got a bench right up here, and there is some slope, but you could bring a driveway down and around and build right here. I see that a lot in the mountains when we're selling properties like this, but you've got a pretty large section of land on this first section here, another 1/3 of an acre to potentially build. Your driveway is probably coming in a little bit of an angle, coming around right here, and you're probably building somewhere in this pocket. That's going to offer some really nice views up at the top of this property too. And there's no rule book that says you can't put a driveway in, to anywhere on your property and build, right? I'm just suggesting some areas that you can build. By no means are these pre-approved building sites. By no means is it where you have to build or where it's approved, right? You still have to go through that process with the county, in terms of your permits and stuff like that, if you're going to build something that requires a permit. To give you an idea, this property is about 1/3 of an acre. To help you understand how much space this is, somebody has a house right here. That's about 1/3 of an acre, to help you understand that, what that looks like. So again, looking at some of the topography, again, we've got this neighbor down here. You've got somebody using their property right here. Looks like they're just using it for recreational purposes. There's cabins around this subdivision. You can see one right here. You can see some cabins up here, right? You can learn a lot from satellite imagery and kind of just peek around looking at different cabins and what other neighboring properties are doing, right? There's some small cabins, there's some people using it for recreation, and there's some pretty big ones too. That's a cool spot right there as well. You can get pretty close on Google Street Views if you're curious what the area looks like in general. You can actually drop right down here. I'll drop right over the Yellowstone River right here and show you what this looks like. So this is what the area looks like out here from a distance. This is your subdivision. You're going to be driving in off I-90. That's a really convenient aspect. Billings and Bozeman both have an airport. You're less than an hour from each place, about a half an hour or so, smack dab between the two. You're flying into your property. You're fly fishing. You're spending summer weekends out here and using this property for recreational purposes to get started. 20-acre lots really are bread and butter. It's one of our most popular listings that we have here at Wilco Land are these 20-acre properties. They do generate a lot of leads. We end up selling a lot of these properties. So we're really happy to be offering something like this, and I think this will go a long way for somebody's dream property in Montana. Let's get back to the listing and talk about some of these utilities. And before I do that, I want to talk about access in case anybody wants to drop off this video. The easiest way to access a property like this is just copy and paste the GPS coordinates from our website. You can access a property from the top up here on Wild Horse Run. You can access the top section of the property. You can access this lower section, whatever road this is called. I think it's called Nighthawk Road. And we should have that described in our access section. We should have, the additional road it's on too. So we'll do that. And, my favorite thing to do is copy and paste these GPS coordinates and just go ahead and drop those into Onyx Maps. It's going to bring you right to the property and you can see it outlined like this. So going through the listing a little bit more, we've got our description. I've got the community map posted right here. I've got the Yellowstone River Ranch website posted right here. I won't spend the entire video on this, but I would really highly encourage you guys as land buyers to browse through this website. You're going to learn a lot about this community and what it has to offer, right? Telephone and internet service, river park and boat launch, right? You're going to learn a lot about this area. There's contact information as well. So just keep that in mind, right? There's a contact us page. If you have some nitty-gritty questions that aren't answered on here, your dues are $500 a year. Right, it is really set up for success. This subdivision is. Whoever put this together, this is a really great subdivision. Very light, minimal covenants to allow camping, to allow recreation like that. You can actually read through all the covenants if you go to their page here and go into the covenants 2012, and you'll be brought to this page. You can even plug this into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT questions. Hey, can I have an accessory building? All these things, what can I do? So yes, accessory buildings are allowed, things like that. You can see it on satellite imagery pretty clearly. Going down here further in the listing, like I said, there is power in the area. When it comes to water, I believe people are installing wells. Contact a local well driller about, quotes, about your options on that for a property like this. I don't believe the community does have water, but that would be interesting, to see if they did. I don't think they do. I think people are installing wells and they're installing septic systems. So, just keep that in mind. You're going to contact a local engineer, get your soil test done, see what you're approved for a septic system. You're going to, have your building plans put together. So when you are ready to build, All that kind of comes at the same time, right? You get soil tests with an engineer, you get your perk test done for whatever septic system, how many bedrooms you're going to have, where that drain field can go. So all that will come, in time, when you start getting these tests done, when you talk to folks. But on 20 acres, you shouldn't have a problem getting approval of septic and well. At the very least, more and more people are doing dry cabins. They're using these properties for recreation. At the price point we're at, a lot of people will just buy 20-acre properties like this for recreational purposes with no intention to build. So that sums up this listing pretty darn well. If you have any questions, give us a call. You can reach us here at 605-299-5553. I do have quite a bit of land out in Montana right now if you're interested in more land investments, and we've got more land coming. But you're welcome to reach out to us with more questions. We are in the business of moving land fairly quickly. We try to offer good deals to buyers. Let me know if you're in the business or if you're in the market for buying land. The goal of the deal is for both sides to walk away happy. We are willing to offer discounts for cash buyers, and we do offer some seller financing terms depending on the property and depending on the terms. So again, get with us if you have questions. My name is Miles McLaughlin here at Wilco Land. Our number is 605-299-5553. Thanks for tuning in.